Hello to everyone on the internet. It is currently Wednesday, December 12th. I am Nathan of Washington, and you are watching The Young Globalist, and this is the news. So, Theresa May is going to face a vote of no confidence. If you're not familiar, a vote of no confidence basically is used to remove a leader whom the people no longer see as competent. For reference, believe it or not, watch Star Wars The Phantom Menace, specifically the scene where Chancellor Valorum gets removed. It's a somewhat idealized version of how it works, but it's the basic idea. If she loses the vote for Brexit, if she loses the vote of no confidence, then she must step down. But if she wins, she cannot be challenged for a year. Seems fair to me, if enough people vote to say they still have confidence in Theresa May. The vote itself was issued by Parliament, so... most modern politics are just kind of screwy anyway. There is no pure capitalism or pure communism anymore. Maybe we should all just start yellow vesting and just, resetting the world already. Things are just getting screwy. Real screwy. Yeah, that's what's going on in Britain. She could get removed. If not, then they have to wait another year to try again. It's funny, I think we have the vote of no confidence here. Ooh, I wonder if that's the thing that the Democrats will try next against Trump. Oh, that'd be amazing to see. I'd vote confidence in Trump. Hell yeah. Speaking of Trump, he's threatening to make the military build the wall. Yeah, since they won't give him his $5 billion wall funding, talk about how he should just do it. I say he should just do it. I mean, he is, after all, the commander-in-chief. As president, he is in charge of the military. He decides whether or not we go to war. He decides what branch of the service goes to where. Mind you, he usually adheres to some sort of tradition or loose guideline. He can make them do it. He can pull it right out of military funding. And these loser Democrats, man, they're just poking at the hornet's nest. Trump is not your typical politician. He does not back down. He's not Ted Cruz. Because unlike Ted Cruz, Trump is a vertebrate. He will not back down from this, well, let's call it what it is. Soft intimidation. Trump made a contract with America listing his campaign promises and how he would step down if he violated it. So this is really a matter of an honest man's word, because Trump is an honest man, painfully honest. The wall itself was part of that contract that he signed. His contract with America. He's treating politics like a business, running the country like a business. And look where it's taken us. Sure, our economy is still a problem, but he's stabilized it. We can control the economy from slipping into total failure. We're making sure that the economy doesn't fall completely into nothing. Plus, we need the wall. Because of its benefits, we're keeping illegal migrants that are hurting our economy out and our society out, and it'll force them to stay on their side and make their country better. They will have no choice but to fight for their home. Pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Get to fighting. Plus, it'll starve the beast. Because migrants always vote left. Because they vote for whoever is more likely to give them what they want. Because migrants are selfish. Building the wall is part of starving the beast. For the first time in 75 years, America hits peak oil yields. Exporting more than importing. They're currently discussing new pipelines. And most of this comes from a Louisiana offshore oil port. Yeah, they were digging off the shore of Louisiana and they found a bunch of oil down there. And now we're exporting more than importing, which is great because, you know, this is going to make us less dependent on foreign oil, and we're going to be more self-sufficient. You know, we'll still never be as sufficient as, say, the Netherlands or Denmark, but maybe we can get as close as we can. I'm not going to be one of these liberals who are always saying we should be someplace other than America. But that does not mean that there aren't lessons to be learned from the successes and behaviors of other countries. There are always lessons to be learned. Japan is a great example of why regulating citizens' weapons is a terrible idea. Because every time Japan took their citizens' swords and guns away, guess what happened? Their government started abusing them and they didn't have any weapons to fight back with. Similarly, the government could start doing something similar. Take our guns away, and then the police and even the criminals can take advantage of us defenseless citizens. It's just a bad proposition. Anyway, Trump is not worried the hush money that was sent to the two women, one of which was Stormy Daniels, he says was not a campaign finance violation. He says that people would revolt were he impeached. Now, there's no evidence that the hush money was in fact a campaign finance violation. There is no evidence to suggest that it was indeed a violation of any kind. However, people would revolt were he impeached? I'm not so sure. I don't see that. I don't see that being a thing. I mean, sure, Trump fans can be pretty fanatical, but fanatical enough to just straight up revolt? And would there be enough of them to make a difference? Or would they all just get shot with rubber bullets and arrested? No, that seems like quite the claim there, Donald. He is a fairly honest man, but sometimes I wonder if he's really living in the same reality as the rest of us. Sometimes I really do wonder. Space Force. Hashtag Space Force. Canada releases the Huawei CFO on bail, but she must wear an ankle monitor and remain home between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Trump said he would intervene if it meant better national security and securing a trade deal with China. Good old Trump being the businessman as always. And he's never compromising that I've seen. Mind you, that this is not me, sucking his dick. I'm not calling Trump perfect. He's not. But at the same time, he's not what the liberal media has portrayed him as. Okay, maybe not so much liberal media as, shall we say, democratic media. It's the Democrats. But he is a businessman, and he's being as honest as he can while keeping America's economy and first world status as his number one priority. And let's face it, we put sanctions on Iran, and products that had U.S. components were shipped to Iran. Therefore, technically, from a legalistic standpoint, we are in the right. I personally think there's too much legalism in America, but when the law is the law, there you go. It's better to just try and live within it while demanding change. Be to the government like, listen, we're not breaking the law. We're obeying your law. Just hear us out. You're not being reasonable. You know? That's how it should be done. And this is how it shouldn't be done. Spain threatening to send national police to Catalonia if it can't rein in Catalonian activists. And if you're not familiar, the Spanish state of Catalonia wants to separate from Spain, although that would in fact be illegal. Again, obey the law, stay in Spain, but express, hey, you're being unfair and being unreasonable. So maybe change the law and let us go. This is what we should have done instead of violent protests. Protests are not the solution to every problem. Kevin McAleenan is the U.S. Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection in the U.S. And he defends tear gas use amid Mexico wanting to investigate use of tear gas in its territory. Oh, just what we need in this day and age of politics. Another investigation. Everything's always investigations, outrage, etc., etc. And a lot of the times it only seems like, there are very few sane people right now. He did, but Mr. McAleenan defends tear gas use. But Mexico, it technically is a violation of Mexican territory, so I say that they should be permitted a chance to investigate, find out, and maybe give us a warning or support us or what they intend to do. I say let them investigate. Maybe we'll see what Mr. McAleenan has to say for himself. Anyway, that's it for the Young Globalist today, folks. I'm out.